Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to set up the Hasura Python Lambda connector on Hasura DDN. This connector exposes Python functions as GraphQL queries and mutations in your Hasura API. It's an easy environment to develop in, and it also makes deploying your code super simple. So let's get started. We'll start by going through the quick start. First, we need to make sure that the Hasura DDN CLI is installed and up to date. So let's go ahead and copy this command in the quick start. And then we're going to run it inside of our terminal. And it's telling me that I already have it, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and replace it. Next, we'll make a new directory called DDN, and we will change into that directory. Now we're going to go back to the quick start and we're going to continue along. So the next thing that we need to run is DDN auth login. So we'll go ahead and we will run that, and it will redirect in my browser to let me log in successfully. Now we'll go back to the quick start and we will continue. We're going to copy this command, and then we will go ahead and run DDN supergraph init, and we will do dot for the current directory. And as you can see, we now have a Hasura DDN project set up for us. Now we're going to go back to the quick start and we are going to continue. We're going to copy the DDN connector init command, and we are going to go ahead and run that. It's going to start the interactive flow. We're going to scroll down and we are going to select the Python connector. We'll name it Python. We'll use the default port. And as you can see, if I open up app connector, I have functions.py, which has some Python code that will be turned into queries and mutations on our graph. So we're going to go back to the quick start and we're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to copy this introspect command, and then we're going to paste it, and we're going to replace the my connector with Python, since that's the name of our connector. And we're going to go ahead and run it. And what it's going to be doing right now is it's actually going to introspect this code to generate a schema for it, and it will spit out a config file. So as you can see inside of metadata, there's now a python.html file, and it will include all kinds of information like the schema information, the different objects that are in your schema, the functions that it's introspected from the Python code. So let's go back to the quick start, and we're going to continue. We're going to copy this command and we'll paste it into our terminal. Again, we will replace my connector with Python, which is the name of our connector, and we're going to go ahead and run this. And as you can see, it's going to pull in all of the additional HTML for all of our commands. Next step is going to be to go ahead and go back to the quick start, and we're going to now do a supergraph build locally. So we'll copy this command and we will run it. Now we're going to go ahead and include the Python connector inside of our Docker Compose file, and we'll do that by adding an include line at the top of the Docker Compose file and point it to a path, which will be app connector python compose.yaml. We'll do this because then it will run the connector inside of our Docker networking. Now we're going to go back to the quick start and we're going to copy the next command. And this will be the command to start the engine. So we'll go ahead and run this, and it should start the engine with a watch session. Once we have a watch session running, we can go back to the documentation. And if we follow this link right here to the local console, you can see that we now have Hasura DDN up and running locally, and we can send a request to one of our Python functions and get a response. Now let's deploy our connector onto Hasura DDN. Let's go back to the quick start, and we will go ahead and scroll down to the next step. We will copy this DDN project init, and we're going to go ahead and in a split terminal, we'll go ahead and go into the DDN directory, and we will run DDN project init. Then we will go back to the documentation, and we will scroll down, and we will copy the next command, which is DDN supergraph build create, and we're going to run that in our terminal. And this one might take a second. Once that command is done running, it's going to give us a link to the console URL, which we're going to open. And as you can see, we now have our app deployed onto Hasura DDN. So we will go ahead and send this request. And this is the production API. Right now, this is our current build. If we want to apply this build, we would go ahead and click apply. And now the project API is serving our latest build. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You've successfully deployed some Python code onto Hasura DDN. In the next video in this series, we'll do a bit of a deeper dive into the Python functions connector and talk about its capabilities and how to use it.